Portugal, there's a YouTube show. Featured guests will come and they will. In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Now, that wasn't the right intro sequence there, and you'll notice we've got a different backdrop. The kitchen, the kitchen setup, as much as I liked it, wasn't especially popular with the rest of the family. So here I am in a new setup. It's not entirely completed. We need a few more pieces of Portuguese ephemera, memorabilia, and that sort of thing. So if you've got any suggestions for my backdrop here, do let me know, including how to improve the contrast on the on-air sign. But with the good Lord's help there, I'm sure we will get there. How are you this morning? Do let me know. I'm actually going to play what I hope is the right intro sequence now to give you an idea of what's coming this morning. A somewhat discombobulated morning. We would expect to see Mama Bear McGowan on a Tuesday, being the second Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, second Tuesday of the month. Mama Bear McGowan of Sharing Care Portugal, and the great Gilda Pereira of A. And my people have been speaking to Gilda's people, and she's not happy about this early morning change. She may join us. We know that Gilda, the almighty Gilda, can be quite demanding. I think by her own admission, she would say that. And we're still thrashing out the details of her appearance on the show this morning. So we may see her. Of course, if we don't, you'll be able to enjoy her company. And more importantly, not just her company, but her insight and expertise on the town hall session on Thursday evening between 9 and 10 if you need any help with visa information specifically. And this week on Expats Portugal's 7:30 webinar, there will be a 2025 roundup of available visas. The one looking across the board, really, the spectrum of visas, and catching up a little bit on what they are and which might be the most appropriate for you. So a visa roundup for coming to Portugal, of course, at 7:30, and the town hall session at 9. So let me just do the intro again, and I'll pretend nothing happened.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. How are you doing today? We begin, of course, with the Bom Dia Daily. Bit of news, bit of weather, language and culture, and well-being as well here in Portugal. And you may have seen in that intro sequence there, a lot going on today, actually. Let me just take off this banner a moment so you can really see what's happening. We are making an attempt at having some sense of solidarity and connection with what's going on in Los Angeles, because we know we have a lot of Americans in our community, of course, and they may have a direct connection with LA, or they may have family there, or just feel a sense of helplessness about what's going on over there, because it's truly grim, of course. And we'll welcome Mike Barton back to the screen this evening at 8:30. So yeah, 8:30, retired US firefighter, fire investigator and paramedic Mike Barton will be joining us at 8:30, and we'll be attempting to create some sort of connection and really just to see if we can help at all. And Mike came and helped us out from his experience when we had the Portuguese wildfires of last year, and he was very helpful. Certainly from a technical point of view. If you've got any questions, if there's something you want to know from that side and from his experience as a retired firefighter and a paramedic, you can ask, and we can discuss that. But also just want to be there really for anybody who feels that sense of helplessness with what's going on. And I think you'd struggle not to, would you not, seeing what's going on over there? And rather than do nothing at all, let's see if let's just be available to people and see if we can help from 8:30 this evening. So that there will be a stream at that time, and then we'll have our usual Portugal Club social hangout from probably around 9, and we can talk more informally. But we'll stream something from 8:30, and we'll be available. I don't know if it's the right word to say socially, but in a non-streaming live environment, just hanging out and being together. Should anybody need any support or want to talk? Okay, so that's 8:30 this evening with the very knowledgeable and very helpful and very supportive Mike Barton, and anybody else actually who might have some particular insight on there. You may come from LA, California, and you might wish to make yourself available, and we'll do what we can to help people this evening from 8:30, and yes, from around 9 or thereabouts, the usual Portugal Club social. And if you're a Portugal Club member, where we'll be going to do a little bit of Portuguese culture this morning, and we finally, I think, getting to those Portuguese sayings of the day. But over at the Portugal Club, you'll have the link for the social, which will start at around 9, 9:15, something like that, after we've had a chat with Mike and seen how we can help and support people who have any concerns at all about the horrible wildfire situation in Los Angeles at the moment. Do let me know how you're doing today. Let's get started then with the Bom Dia Daily. And a very interesting news item. The largest smart shop in the world opens in Leiria. This is a real first for Portugal. We will do that. We'll come back to the weather, of course, and we'll look at some sayings of the day. And we'll do our best to give you a little bit more laughter medicine in the well-being section as well. A few one-liners, which I always find very amusing. So let me bring onto the screen then well, it's very quiet in the chat as well this morning. We've got Coach Turner with us. Bom dia, Gampas e feliz terça. It's due to get up to a positively balmy 7 degrees today. There's your weather report from the UK. That means one less layer to wear. Woohoo! Getting warmer, ever warmer. Signs of spring yet, Coach, in the UK? And from a moist Minho, nobody likes a moist Minho, to a chilly Minho this morning. Morning greetings from a frosty Minho. Happy Tuesday. Bit of Tony time. Man in the Minho there. Tony Barbosa, thank you very much. And you'll see his name peppered all over the Portugal Club as well when we go there in a few minutes after we've had a look at this first news. I think this is quite a significant bit of news for Portugal, and I'll bring it onto the screen so you can see it. Some reporting by Natasha Don in the Portugal Resident, and we'll have a little look at it now. This is a gathering at a Continent Bom Dia shop. Now, Bom Dia, I think, is a smaller part of their operations. They're express shopping, if you like. The promise here is prepare to be wowed. And this is how AI is coming into retail. The largest smart shop in the world opens in Leiria. Thanks, Natasha, for this from 2 or 3 days ago. 12,000 square meter shop offers AI tech that will also cut down on theft. I mean, that's more of a interest to the retailers themselves, isn't it, than the consumers? What's in it for us as the consumers, I hear you ask? Well, the first Continent Bom Dia shop operating with artificial intelligence technology, which allows you to pay for products without having to register them manually, has opened in Leiria. It's a shop unlike any other, says Luis Moutinho, CEO of the company responsible for the project. MC, stressing that, so the project is called MC, is it? I'm not sure. Stressing that it's the largest intelligent shop in the world, right? Not only the largest, but the largest intelligent shop, not only an intelligent shop, but the largest intelligent shop in the world, born in a year in which Continent celebrates its 40th anniversary as well. The Bom Dia Leiria São Romão shop was built with an investment of 6 million euros. So they're clearly serious about this, of which 1.5 million went to Sensei Tech, a Portuguese startup. So keeping it in the family in terms of investment and innovation. The inauguration was attended by the Minister for Youth and Modernization, Margarida Balseiro Lopes, who had the opportunity to see how AI shopping works. What do you think? AI shopping. And João de Norte is also a little bit chilly, I think. Bom dia Alegria, Portugal, from João Ernesto. And only 3 this morning in Ponte Lima, 3 degrees. It's a duvet day, isn't it, this morning? 6 degrees here I can see on my screen. We'll do a little bit more weather analysis a little bit later on after we've had a look at this huge intelligent shop that we're looking at on the screen now. And I have a watercolor class today in an unheated classroom. Not sure about this, as well as do not. Your beautiful dragonfly picture is, I can see it out of the corner of my eye. And I think it's going to be part of our set for the moment, John. So thank you very much. Thanks again. I know it wasn't for me necessarily, but I get the pleasure of looking at your one of your wonderful watercolors. Good to see you, John. Wrap up war. When's that appointment? Can you remind me when you've got that all-important appointment that you were telling us about just recently? Right, back to the largest smart shop in the world. And basically, it starts off like normal shopping, doesn't everything. But when people reach the smart checkout tills, they don't need to take the products out of their baskets for scanning. This is the interesting bit. I don't know how they do it, and I'm very keen to know what you think about this. When you get there, the bill is displayed immediately. So does that mean that all of these items have got smart tags on them, chips that are read by multiple sensors? And then by the time you get to the checkout, all you have to do is pay. You still have to pay. That's one of the big weaknesses of this new system, is you still have to pay for your stuff. But anyway, our dream is to give customers the wow effect. And I'm thinking, is it wow, or is it like, what the? Which is to get to the till and not have to do anything. Well, actually, that's not quite true, is it? Because you do still have to pay. And I imagine as well, you have to put your own stuff in a bag, which is something they don't pay us for or give us a discount for doing, right? If you're scanning and packing your own shopping, surely you should get a discount. And really, maybe not do that, such that somebody can have a job if they want one in retail as well. From day one, says Luis Moutinho, we have believed in a hybrid shop because we want the customer experience to be completely normal and calm. He said, with the added twist at the end of the wow effect. I don't know. Going to the supermarket is not really normal and calm. And talking of what are these? These are the risks. I don't think the watercolor class has a live model. John will confirm or deny that. Shrinkage is quite common. Do you say that from the point of view of an artist or as a model? Peter Bleach, good morning to you this morning. And if we can take a little bit of a right hand, or is this left field? This is left field, isn't it? If we take a little bit of a turn from this story, but we'll stay in supermarkets. John Rooney was disgusted to see that barely over Christmas and the shelves are full of Valentine's stuff already. Look at that. The Valentine's gifts are already stacking up in the supermarket. And I don't know if in that particular supermarket, you can just pick up a couple of Valentine's gifts, get to the checkout and have the wow factor that's being talked about here, where it will magically tell you how much you owe. Let's come back to that article then. And the wow effect then that Luis Moutinho is talking about. Of course, if shoppers are not keen on the wow effect, it's a bit shaming, isn't it? If you want to be boring and old-fashioned, you can just go over there and then you can opt for a till with a human being. Oh, really? On the checkout line. The shop, with an area of 1,200 square meters, has 6 smart checkouts, and 2 manual ones. How big, roughly speaking, is 1,200 square meters? Could somebody give me a not a sort of metric imperial translation, but how big is that spatially? I've no idea what 1,200 square meters is like. Are we commenting on this? Hugh, good morning. I imagine, Hugh, you're not a fan of the most robotic, AI-driven retail experiences. I don't know why. And oh yeah, thank you, John. Oh, it's tomorrow. Great. Okay, so hopefully you'll have a little bit of relief or understanding with what's going on tomorrow as well, Ernesto. Today has been good so far. However, I haven't been speaking or eating yet this morning. My goodness, can you imagine that? Finding out how your day's going to be when you start to speak or eat. Let me do the speaking for the moment, John. You take it easy. Bom dia, gambas. Feliz terça a todos. Como está? Tudo bem? From James as well. Good morning, you sleepy heads. Excuse me. They are scrapping most self-service tills in the UK. Theft, staffing, and the tills simply not working have made them uneconomical. That's interesting. Just as Starmer is trying to roll out AI. Yeah, he was making a big deal of that yesterday, wasn't he? And Valentine's gifts. Yeah, Joao Ernesto, of mops, brooms, and dusters. No, you try it. No, you try it. Okay, back to Leiria, the 1,200 square meter shop with its 6 smart checkouts and 2 manual ones. You see, call it smart, and it's the beginning of a conversation, isn't it? A word for the Sensei technology. It has the ability to distinguish 12,000 different product references. Says that should do it. Says Sensei CEO Vasco Portugal. What a name! He was born to do great things, or once he was named. He had a certain future ahead of him, didn't he, with parents calling him Vasco and the family name Portugal. And by its nature, it reduces the chances of theft, as all products collected by customers are recorded. And if they are not paid for on the way out, they will be detected. Is this sounding like shops with less staff and less requirement for security guards? This is a question from Natasha. Apparently not. Luis Moutinho has stressed that the group is one of the largest private employers in Portugal and means to stay that way. MC. Oh, I see. MC is I guess, the Continent Group, is it not? Which, of course, I believe owns Wharton and Wells, the chemists as well, and Mo, the outfitters. MC employs 44,000 people, and this shop has 28 new colleagues. He told reports, we don't even want to reduce the social interactions we have with our customers. The fact that it's being talked about at all is worrying, isn't it? We don't want to reduce the social interactions we have with our customers. As long as it adds to the bottom line, we're fine with that. But we believe that digital is itself also a facilitator of our... Do you want to be digitally facilitated at the supermarket? I'm not sure I do. Also a facilitator of our business. MC has 17 shops in the Leiria district and employs 1,329 over there. Props to Zap and Lusa for the original material there that Natasha Don will have translated and put together for us that there for that article. Largest smart shop in the world, people. The largest smart shop in the world opens in Leiria there. Do you want, you know how it is when a new supermarket opens in, I guess that's what a 1,200 square meter supermarket looks like. Happy people, photo opportunity. It doesn't look like there's a single shopper in sight. It just looks like a lot of very pleased with themselves retailers and politicians right there. Yeah, but do you know whenever there's a new supermarket that opens in my district, and that hasn't happened for a while, to be fair. I'm thinking back to Mercadona opening up, and I was thinking to myself, what is the fuss about this Mercadona? We've got enough supermarkets, and now it's packed every day. It's packed. So it just seems however many supermarkets you introduce into an area, people want to go to them. And will they want to go to this one, which is a very special, smart, intelligent, and the largest smart and intelligent supermarket in the world, which we have in my district here in Leiria? I don't feel like I want to make the journey over there. And I suspect this sort of technology is heading our way, whether we like it or not. That's the sexiest, is it? I don't know. So Mr. S quite likes the cut of this supermarket's jib. Athens is good for Valentine's Day. They have large plastic noisy sticks. You whack anyone you fancy with, or just everyone. Okay. I did get Pam a vacuum once for her birthday. How did that go, John? And it looks like Costco to James there. Nobody seems especially excited among the Gumpers this morning when it comes to big, smart, intelligent supermarkets. But I wanted to share that with you as a Portuguese first as well. Mops can make a fantastic hair replacement. Ah, yes, I hadn't thought that. No one would dare even notice, would they, if I turn up to the next meetup with a mop on my head? I might have to dye it a darker color, Pete, to be fair. Or am I using one of those Veleda ones with strands of J-cloth? So useful and convincing, especially with perms coming back into fashion. Just an idea for Mrs. Ed. You can tell her about that, Pete. And you're right, perms are coming back, aren't they? Who knew? If it's anything like the first smart car, it isn't smart. 40 years ago, what was it called? What was the Sinclair? C5 was it called? Didn't that come out 40 years ago, almost to the day? Show that Valentine's Day display again. I want some other ideas. Okay, of course. My pleasure. You're very welcome, John. Let's go back then to the shelves that are full of Valentine's gifts. Not even Christmas is barely out of the frame, and here they are. The supermarkets taking advantage with their next range of merchandising, mops, buckets. Oh, a step as well there, a broom, the brooms, a self-assembly broom, so it's an intelligence test as well as a broom there. Yeah, very good. Not sure what's going on the top shelf there, but and some quite good prices as well, if I can make those out correctly there. So you're very welcome. Joao Ernesto, do let us know how that goes. Right, weather to come. As I was explaining earlier on, Mama Bear McGowan is at the vet with Batty, who's not very well this morning. So we send our love to M and to Batty and hope he's doing okay at the vet this morning. She might send a little bit of an update from there. She might be too busy, of course, which we completely understand. Always a bit tense, isn't it, when you take your pets to the vets? And Gilda Pereira of A, she it's her day today as well. Every day is Gilda's day, is it not? But it's especially her day here on Good Morning Portugal. And she was making a right old fuss about the earlier start time. Not at all happy about it. So we shall just see if she joins us, because that's how she rolls. If she feels like it, she will be here, and we will welcome her as if there was no kerfuffle at all, or difficult discussion ahead of her visit to the Good Morning Portugal virtual studio. Right, okay. Let's move on and take a look at. I'll tell you what. Let's do some Portuguese language and culture, and have a look over at the Portugal Club. And we're going to start making our way through these Portuguese sayings. Okay, and let me do that for you. We will have a look at the weather, although I mean everyone pretty much knows it's a chilly morning so far. That's what you're reporting. They are not smart brooms. They need assembling. That's very well spotted there, James. Mr. S. Tudo em Portugal é o maior do mundo. Okay. So everything in Portugal is what? The best in the world there. Please. Was that about the Valentine's Day display there? All done. I think the year I gift, I think year the gift will be a bucket. Those are quite useful. Okay, so you've chosen. Look, I'll keep my voice down. Just I don't want her to walk through and overhear the fact that she might be getting a bucket. I won't mention her name directly. Oh, Mr. S and Pete are having a chat in Portuguese. This is great. You can eavesdrop on a Portuguese conversation there. You can use Google Translate, can't you, with the camera feature, if you want to do that. How are you doing this morning, apart from being a little bit chilly? Let's go to the Portugal Club there. This is the way to support what we're doing here. €9 a month gets you. Is it $9? You can do either. Actually, I think is how this works. It's been so long since I've looked at that, but anyway, I'm all over it. Don't worry. You'll see here all sorts of gubbins going on the timeline, and then a classroom. And of course, talking of well-being, we've got actually, let's have a quick look over there, and I'll show you some of the things that are going on over there. Yeah, the God Squad program is there. My introduction to podcasting, how to start a business in Portugal, Andy Klein's better smartphone videography. Some of Owen's food videos over there. All sorts of things going. Lots of fun over there in the classroom section of the Portugal Club. Find that at GMP VIP. Now, coming back to the timeline, long ago. Oh, and you can direct message the members here as well. Long ago, if we scroll past Real Estate Roundup, Portugal 2025, home prices on the rise in Europe. Thank you. Bit of Tony time there, Antonio Barbosa. There we go. Today's Portuguese saying of the day. I've got a poll. Actually, yes, I would like to ask you about that as well. One of my colleague writers over at the Portugal Resident suggested a whole list of people I should speak to. And some of them I haven't heard of, but I'm sure that's not to say they're not interesting and excellent people to have on the show. We might come back to that as well. 2 cathedrals, Coimbra. Antonio F gets real busy, and we thank him so much for that over at the Portugal Club. Coimbra is one of the few cities in the world, and the only in Portugal with 2 cathedrals. That'll be Coimbra. Some information about that. And something to share there about the golden visa. Portugal's 15-minute cities, interestingly, there as well. And why Portugal is America's top retirement destination. All of that information there at the Portugal Club. And criminal facts. Antonio F's criminal fact file right there. But the reason we're going there this morning is to have a look at some of the Portuguese sayings of the day. And we'll start back in March of 2023. Let's do a few of these this morning. Do feel free to chip in as well if you've got one that you think might not be here. Or if you're a member, go there and add it yourself. Or sign up today and get the benefit of all these Portuguese sayings and add a few for yourself as well. Mais vale tarde do que nunca. I could say that to Gilda if she turns up today. Better late than never then in Portuguese. This is a great way to learn the language and also to get a sense of the Portuguese psychology. Mais vale tarde do que nunca. Better late than never. And we stay with the mais vales. Mais vale andar so que mal acompanhado. It is better to walk alone than poorly accompanied. So true in life. Mais vale andar so que mal acompanhado. It is better to walk alone than poorly accompanied. And one more for you there. And you can see a few of the Gumpers chipping in with their thoughts about it, including Vita Costa, who never heard of this one. Homem apercebido, meio combatido. And some of them have a nice rhyming couplet feel to them as well. And there's, how many now? Many, 489 comments. It's a book. It's a little ebook, isn't it? Maybe I should get AI to write an ebook in 27 seconds or whatever that YouTube advert says. And homem apercebido, meio combatido means realized man, half fought. Now, I'm going to cut and paste this one and stick it in the chat because nobody really knows what it means. And I posted this one back in March of 23. I'm not sure what it means. My suspicion with this, if I pop it into, where's my keyboard? Here it is. Control V. Right, there we go. If I put that into the chat so you can see that perhaps a little bit bigger there. Homem apercebido, meio combatido. Realized man is half fought. I think that's probably something to do. It's probably sort of stoic, is it not? In terms of a realized man has suffered, I would say. You know, you have to fight to gain wisdom. I think that's what that means. Let me know what you think of that. And oh yeah, I will come back to the Portugal Club in just a moment because I want to see if you know of some of the folks that have been suggested by Pat the Expat as possible interviewees for the Good Morning Portugal show. Meant to say, I think this year. Okay, no problem. We just know that a bucket is the selection. That's the important thing. And very, very pleased to have been of some service this morning. Because it's difficult, isn't it? When you're trying to select a gift and you just don't know what to do, and then you get a sudden flash of inspiration. So you're very welcome. Bom dia. Just watch the sun come up here. Morning to you, Stuart Boyle. Just watch the sun come up here in Figueira dos Vinhos. A crisp but beautiful morning. Glad to be in Portugal. That is exactly what we love to see. And do you know what, Stuart? I think that deserves a screenshot. So if I press the right buttons for doing that, with yet another new studio setup, I'm struggling to get my fingers on the keyboard, but I am screenshotting that because I think that's a worthy contender for what I want to share next Monday. We're not having Blue Monday, we are having Green and Red Monday. So comments like that are fabulous about being in Portugal. That's a Portuguese moment, isn't it? A crisp but beautiful morning. Glad to be in Portugal. We want to see more like that. Thank you, Stuart, for leading the way on that. And I'm not familiar. You're not a regular visitor here, and that's not an accusation. That is, it's lovely. I mean to say, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us this morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show, Stuart Boyle. May it be the first of many such mornings with such a lovely message shared there. So much appreciated. Question for Carl. With 100% tax on non-EU property tax in Spain, 100% tax on non-EU property tax in Spain, and the consequential property crash, do you think that Portugal will copy or resist? I've no idea, Pete. Can you illustrate that for me? What's that going to look like then? And certainly that's a great question that I could put to Pedro Franco over on the town hall on a Thursday evening. I'd be delighted to do so. And yes, there are for many people, of course the financial incentive and sweetness of being in Portugal is very important, and that sounds like it could be trouble to me, if I understand it correctly. Well, basically, in 2 words, more tax for people, more pain, more fiscal pain for people, making Portugal less attractive, possibly in the way that Spain is making itself less attractive. Have I got that right, Pete? Do let me know. Talking of Portuguese language and culture and phrases, as we have been this morning, I learned a new phrase in language class yesterday. Sulusa means I am Portuguese, I Lusitanian. Pretty cool. Sulusa, that's a cracker. That needs to go in Portuguese sayings, does it not? Thank you very much for that, John, as well. I'm screenshotting that as well. You see, this is learning for everybody, isn't it? Here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Hopefully, anyway, I'm screenshotting that one. Sulusa, that's a really nice thing to be able to say to a Portuguese friend, isn't it? In a moment where you distinguish yourself as somebody who's made themselves at home here, you could say that, couldn't you? Sulusa. That's really nice. Thank you very much for that one, John, as well. Try it today. Try one of those Portuguese sayings. Try that one. Sulusa. And it does make Brexit even more beneficial to the rest of Europe. What? Because people can be taxed as non-EU citizens. Is that what is at stake there then? And another Brexit shot in the foot and more taxation there. Just guessing. Thank you, Mr. S. A conscious man is half conquered. Yeah, that's the sort of vibe, the gist I was thinking of, Mr. S. I think we're on the right track there. I had a crisp, beautiful salad last night. Is that a contender for the green and red Monday? Okay, there would have been green and red elements in that salad, I suspect as well. Thank you very much for that. And JMC is here. Hey, rapaziada dos Gumps. Very good. Is that like hi Gumpers? In some very colloquial Portuguese there, JMC. All right, this pretty good this morning on the language tuition, I have to say. Thank you very much for being here. Just after 8:30 on the Good Morning Portugal show with an extended Bom Dia Daily today with news, weather, language, culture, and well-being. And so let's have a look at that weather, shall we now? And then we'll come back to those possible interviewees. And not a single comment about my backdrop. Is it because everybody listens to this like it were a radio show and you don't even look at the screen, perhaps? Is that what it is? I wonder. And have you got any suggestions for what might be missing? If I take that back off the screen, what's missing? I've got Beral. I have got Fernando Pessoa there. I've got Good Morning Portugal mugs. I've got the Barcelos cockerel. I've got the flag that we talked about yesterday. Of course, yeah, my Beral miniatures. Some GMP merchandise, and the good Lord blessing me from behind. Didn't mean to say it quite like that. But anyway, there's the beginning, and a cork up in the top left-hand corner as well. There are many more corks I could add to that scene there, and I think I probably need to paint the wood white. Who doesn't like to whitewash their wood first thing in the morning? Okay, so any more suggestions for my backdrop? Greatly received. Loser. Real estate values. Oh, okay. And I don't know if he's talking to me or with my interpretation of what you shared there, or somebody else there. Pete, you might have to give me a bit more on that. Real estate values all depend on supply and demand. It will take a few years that Portugal will catch up with the inventory for all that demand. So values will continue to increase. I think that's a pretty good analysis. Technically means of Portuguese descent, so also they're ethnically Portuguese. It's worth a try though, isn't it? Yes, red, green, and crisp. Your salad there. I prefer a crisp sandwich to a crisp salad, says Coach Turner. Follow him for more dietary tips. Why are the liqueur Beral bottles full? Yes, sorry. I've really let the side. Clearly not. I can't say Sualusa, because if I said Sualusa, I beg your pardon, James, those bottles would be empty, would they? They'd be lying on their side with the caps off. Very good. Although I might have replaced it with cold tea, might I, for display purposes. I thought it the background, but didn't comment. But now you've opened that door, white on white really makes the not white pop. Everything else is virtually invisible. Okay, so so is that a suggestion to whitewash me wood or not there? As you missed it, and it's quite important, non-EU residents will have to pay. Yes, I didn't understand it, but non-EU residents, okay, Brits, in this illustration, will have to pay 100% of the property value in tax on any 100% of the property value in tax, pay double on anything they purchase in Spain. It will devalue the costas immediately. So has that happened? Or is it's a suggestion, or that's already happening? My goodness, I mean, that is pretty profound and serious, is it not? These days, you could say, identifico me como luso. I identify like a Portuguese these days. I see what you did there, John. Right, bit of weather then. I'm going to identify as a weather girl now and share with you the fact that it's a sunny day in Lisbon. How about that? 7 degrees in Lisbon. It's going to rise to 14, they say. And 3 days of sunshine from tomorrow with temperatures of 14, 15, and 14 again on Friday. Look at that. The warm, sunny weather is returning, at least to the capital there. Let's check if it's the same in Porto, where it's currently 8 degrees with a clear sky. 12 degrees the high today. A little bit cloudy, but it may be that we put the rain behind us, at least until next weekend, where it might be raining again on Sunday. But 3 days of sunshine there up in the north. Coimbra, scattered clouds, a 1 degree, chilly in central, 14 degrees the high today. Yeah, starting out at 1, where it is right now with some scattered cloud. Faro is 8 degrees at the moment with a clear sky. Sunny there, 14 the high today. A little bit cloudy perhaps at times. And 4 days of sunshine with a high on Thursday of 15. And in Braga, 3 degrees. Broken clouds there, the high of 13. So you're going to get another 10 degrees of centigrade today. Cloudy day today and tomorrow. And 3 days of sunshine Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Let's stay with Leria. Leria, the star of the show, and where I am today, mainly 5 degrees, overcast clouds. I'm seeing a nice blue sky out of the studio window here. Going to rise to 14 today, and then we're going to have 3 days of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Any other weather by request, but we can see that the sunshine is returning to Portugal, it would appear, certainly by Thursday. Warmer temperatures getting up to 13, 14, and 15 in the country. And in the autonomous regions, 18 degrees at the moment in the Açores, rising to, that's your high today, 18 degrees. And Madeira, 10 degrees centigrade with a clear sky. And 3 sunny days ahead, 14, 12, and 13 degrees respectively. Don't forget, if you want to have a deep dive into Silver Coast weather or central weather, both Phil and Barak have lent us links to their weather stations in their back gardens. So that's very kind. And if you have one of those all singing, all dancing weather stations, and you want to publicize the fact and share that weather on our weather page here, please do so. You can send that to me, like everything else, on 913. Excuse me. I'm having to do a lot of talking this morning. Didn't mean to cough all over you just then, as I did. Yeah, there you go. There's your Spartan Effects weather for today and the Good Morning Portugal weather. Right. Kind of a police mugshot energy. Is that me? Do I just need to hold up some numbers in front of me this morning? So not a fan then of my... I think you might like my display more when I get a little bit more Portuguese memorabilia, ephemera onto the backdrop there, and then I'll take one thing away and you've got to guess what's gone. Okay. All right, Pete. Yeah, that's a very interesting bit of news, and yes, it might be that Portugal follows suit, although let's hope that the Treaty of Windsor means that it won't be quite so bitter, because that'll be just a pretty savage blow, isn't it? And can we imagine the Portuguese doing that to post-Brexit Brits? I hope not. Foreigners account for less than 10% of real estate transactions, and with interest rates dropping, more first-time home buyers will certainly get into the market. And there is that sweetener, isn't there, for under 35 or 36-year-olds. It was announced yesterday. Thank you, Pete. And is implemented in April. So expect a lot of property and businesses for sale over there in Spain. I really want to process that and understand that better, but it does sound very serious, that, Pete. Not for the 1 million plus marketing of properties there. Yes, and often it's often the way, isn't it? There are certain parts, certain echelons that remain unaffected and will always benefit with whatever happens. I don't know if that's the point you're making there, Mr. S. 2.3 degrees at Quinta dos Tres Rios in Vezio this morning. Good morning to you, Hugh. See you. As I was saying, there's a lot happening today, as well as our 8:30 Solidarity with LA live stream and the social thereafter at around 9:15. We've also got the moment with me and Mrs. M at midday today. Hope to see you there, Hugh. I know that's popular with you. They bought 27,000 properties in Spain in 2023. Is that the 10% of foreign investors that are being spoken about there? And the sort of policy one would imagine Shager jumping on. Do you think so, Pete? It seems that Shager tend to focus on a particular kind of immigrant, right? Not immigration, generally speaking. They are quite nichey in their attentions, are they not? I mean, I guess it's quite a good policy to saber rattle about potentially, isn't it? Tax the foreigner. I wonder. That'll change a place in the sun. Yeah, a place in the sun for millionaires, perhaps. Talking of which, me and Andy, by Andy, have been featured in A Place in the Sun. He sent me a screenshot of him in Aveiro. I was filmed in Caldas de Rainha, and I think that is airing on British TV. I don't have access to that, and I don't use a VPN, so I don't think I'm going to see it. If you see me on A Place in the Sun on the Caldas special, please send me a screenshot. I'd love to see that, and I'd love to send the link to my mum in the UK as well. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy, and apparently John Denver as well. Yes, that's a nice Portuguese moment, isn't it? Sunshine on the shoulders. Bom dia, Gumpers, says Mike, who will be with me tonight at 8:30. A little frost in Miranda de Corvo this morning, so not only a frosty Minho, a frosty Miranda as well. Just make it white stuff. What, as in all my Portuguese ephemera needs to be white. I made quite a good start. I've got a big black cock there behind me as well, though, haven't I? Not much I can do about that. Maybe offer Gumper t-shirt merch for purchase for subscribers. Lots of cool phases and, yes, cool phrases and memes available, I'm sure. It's about time, isn't it, that we had a Gumper t-shirt, I think. Thank you very much for that idea as well, Ernesto. Yeah, so exclusive t-shirts over at the Portugal Club. Yes, I will give my attention to that. Thank you very much, Ernesto, for a great idea there. And politics ruins stuff. Moving on, enough of Shager. And oh, excuse my French, says, yeah, politics. There's a great irony with politics, isn't there, in how it ruins stuff, as you put it there. It's meant to improve things, isn't it? What happened? What happened? And I don't think we've seen anything yet with the capability or potential for politics to ruin stuff. It might be coming to a little bit of a head, that at the moment in this time in human history. Shaker thinks wealthier immigrants are to blame. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough, for the increase in property prices in Portugal. Well, we shall see then, Mr. S. That's very interesting. Should we lighten the mood a little bit? And I have some wonderful one-liners. Oh, and some postcards to share with you as well. Some quotes here from Stephen Wright. We've got a very extended Bon Dia Daily today. It looks like Gilda will not be joining us this morning, and Mama Ben McGowan at the vets. Oh, hello, I just woke up. Sorry. That's honest. Olá Bom Dia, Gilda. Okay, let's have a look at some Stephen Wright quotes then. Number one on this list, and I've got loads of these because he's a king of the one-liner, isn't he? The quotes of Stephen Wright. Thank you, Nature Mind, for cataloguing them like this. I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. Borrow money from pessimists. They don't expect it back. Laughter being the best medicine here on our little effort to improve your well-being this morning. Half the people you know are below average. Are you like thinking in your mind, who's that? Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah, definitely them. 99% of lawyers give the rest of us a bad name. And I think Daniel Reyes would put his hand up to that, wouldn't he? 82.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot. That's traveled around the world a few times, hasn't it? Well done, Stephen Wright, on that. And yes, if you hear something familiar, you'll know this morning that it came from the mind and mouth of Stephen Wright here. A conscience is what hurts when all your other parts feel so good. A clear conscience is usually the sign of a bad memory. Yes. If you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain. All those who believe in psychokinesis, raise my hand. Whoa! The early bird may get the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. That's very good, isn't it? I almost had a psychic girlfriend, but she left me before we met. Aww. And okay, so what is the speed of dark? We know the speed of light, but what is the speed of dark? Plenty more where they came from. That's just the first of, I think, 3 pages of those. Thank you very much, Stephen Wright, via Nature Mind, probably on, is that that's a Facebook page there, I think, isn't it? Stephen Wright also said, the Earth is bipolar, and it's hard to argue with that. It's certainly. Oh, hold on a minute. I think there might be a sequence to this. Until Life Do Us Part, a Portuguese language series will be leaving Netflix in February, so you might want to watch it before it goes. Thank you for that. A little bit of cultural insight there. Oh, let me come back onto the screen for a minute, and let's have a bit of Good Morning Portugal. There you go. Good Morning Portugal. It's 2025, by the way, just in case you hadn't noticed. Until Life Do Us Part. Tell us more about that, James. Until Life Do Us Part. It certainly appeals to the protesters in Barcelona, the Canaries, and the Costas. Okay, what, taxing the foreigner? It's. I mean, talking of bipolar, it's a shame, isn't it, when things become so polar like this? You know, do we want them or don't we want them? It's like, how do we want them? Immigration, people moving around the world, people coming into your society, us going into another country's society. It's how we do it, isn't it? It's a fact of life. It's going to happen. That includes immigrants and the so-called expats. I don't think Mr. S likes the word expat. That includes immigrants and the so-called expats. It does give more reason to gain Portuguese citizenship. Okay, yeah, tax residency from that side of things there. And it also makes Brexit about as successful as a trickle-down economics and Boris's parties. They're not the only ones, though. They're the worst examples, aren't they, Pete? They're all pretty much the same, it would appear, shades of. Right, comments in the chat, of course, and pics and videos to 913590303. According to the BBC report, the tax is just a proposal. Okay, so there we go. And there is no timeline for presenting it to Parliament. It's among a number of proposals to improve the availability of housing. Thank you very much for that, Coach Turner, with that one there. Right, going back then to the Portugal Club and this list of people who I might interview. And we're coming out of the Portuguese saying of the day. Nearly 500 comments there. Thank you, Antonio F., who might turn up at any minute. A little bit of a poll over there at the Portugal Club. And this was in a little bit of a roundup from Pat the Expat, who writes, yeah, Mr. S. Pat the Expat writes in the Portugal Resident and said, Carl Munson, some of you may know him as a columnist for the leading English language newspaper in the Algarve, relatively new to the area, who is trying to promote a podcast. The tone of that I'm somewhat uncomfortable with. He's like, he's a Johnny come lately with his 7 years, his mere 7 years in Portugal, and he's trying to promote a podcast. Anyway, I would like to suggest that he resolves to interview some of the other columnists in the paper. It's a great idea, no problem with that. For which he writes, first and foremost, he should interview Skip Bandela, an actual long-time expert on the expat lifestyle in Portugal, who writes with a sense of humor. I do my best too. Humor without a U there is Pat the Expat American. I also think speaking to Peter Booker would be helpful because knowing the history of the place where you live can be instructive. I know that, Pat the Expat. I also look forward to Jay Costa Owen, who is an excellent example of using third person to positive effect. There are many more. Isabel Costa, Paul Rees. We already talk to Paul Rees every month, don't we? Alistair Leithhead. Now, that's a name you might remember from the BBC if you're a Brit. Alistair Leithhead has chosen to escape the rat race and lives in Portugal. Wouldn't mind chatting to him. He's an interesting character. I'm not saying that the others aren't. Derek Hughes and more who have something worthy to contribute about the expatriate experience. Of course, good old Pat, who is not interested in promoting himself, but might have something to say as well. Who do you think I should ask first? And I see a typo that I've put there. Yeah, any of those? Do any of those? Yeah, Skip Bandela. It seemed his favourite so far. Only 2 people have voted as yet, but do you have any preferences there on that list? Skip, Peter Booker, Jay Costa Owen, Derek Hughes, Alistair Leithhead, Isabel Costa, or Pat the expat himself, who put this idea. These were suggested resolutions that other people might put into practice for 2025, and that's what he was hoping I might do. So let me know what you think of that. Yes, dwelling on in the Portugal Club for a moment then, and we can see that these Portuguese 15-minute cities, bit of talk about them at the moment in certain circles. Did you know then that according to the Expresso newspaper, Portugal has 10 15-minute cities? They would be Viseu, Braga, Coimbra, Aveiro, Faro, Porto, Povoa de Varzim, Viana do Castelo, Guimarães, and Lisboa. Places, I'm guessing, my understanding, having talked to Andy Klein about this, who knew a thing or two about this from his interest in being on the council and in planning in his native Springfield, Missouri. I think they were attempting where he lived to become a 15-minute city. And that's where you have access to everything you need in your life within 15 minutes. Started out, I think, as a sociological, environmental move and has become a political hot potato where it looks like Klaus Schwab wants everyone to live in one of these. And that's another great example of how everything can get politicized and become a polar issue. Expect more of that, at least for the time being, until we're over it. Which I hope we will be quite soon. Simply Live, Mel is here, Bon Dia, and JMC saying, yeah, poor Spanish needing money. And now Apostle con eles desde Algebrota, showing little mercy and understanding for our Spanish neighbors there. Thank you, JMC. It sounds like you're not a fan. It has been presented to Parliament, who are expected to make a decision, picking up where the coach left off, expect to make a decision and pass the 12 regulations in some form by April. Oh, my goodness. That will be a game changer, will it not? BBC, the least reliable news source. Thank you very much. Who do you go to for reliable news, Peter, on that note? ULDUP is a light, relatively... okay. Until Life Do Us Part. Is that what it was called there on Netflix? Yes, Until Life Do Us Part, the Portuguese series that's leaving Netflix soon. Watch it soon if you want to. The review here from James is that it's a relatively light and engaging series about a Portuguese family making their way through life. Quite good and a great opportunity to listen to the language. Thank you very much for that. And 169. Oh, Pete just turned on the BBC, all that money to protect a certain type of human being, if we dare call them that, and watch repeats as well. So not a fan of the BBC, it would appear there, Peter. I thought you might have had them as a bastion of all that is good and great. But yes, quite hard to justify that description, it would appear, in these days. Is that I don't think it is the Portuguese version of Alf Garnett, Until Death Do Us Part there. Although I suspect that would be hilarious. But you can't say that anymore, you silly moo! I don't think. Right, also tonight at 7 o'clock here on the live streaming channels that I use, including this one, is Me and the Portugueser, our weekly live stream at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday evening. Tonight, episode 16, would you believe? 4 months of doing it with the Portugueser, our weirdest Portuguese experiences, where the one that comes to mind for me is the house that me and Mrs. M moved into, thinking that we were going to be renting 2 houses next to each other, thinking that we'd had the conversation with the owner and intermediary who said, yeah, it's fine. your 500 euros or whatever it was. And I think it was a really great bargain, 500 euros for not just one house with loads of bedrooms, but the little annex next to it as well, and a great big garden. And we were new to Portugal, so just the idea of having a well and citrus trees was so magical and beautiful to us in a nice little town in central Portugal. Moved our stuff there ahead of moving in ourselves. And the day we moved in, I shall say a little bit more about this and how we responded to it. And not entirely positively, but we had to get on with it anyway, with quite a young baby at the time. When we moved in, the lady was still in the big house and had no intention of moving. We thought we were going to be moving into all of it. She was still there when we got there, which was quite the surprise. And it was very weird. It was weird. It was like, well, yeah, of course I'm still living here in my house. You're renting the other bit. What do you mean you thought you were renting the whole thing? No. It was really very strange. So that and other weird Portuguese experiences we may go into tonight. And of course, what tends to happen with the Munson and the geezer is that Tony unburdens himself for the first 30 minutes or so with what's been on his febrile mind for the first 30 minutes, first half hour. And then we'll begin to talk about, if ever you're wondering, oh my God, are they ever going to talk about the thing they advertise? Yes, I'm trying to discipline him, which I think he quite enjoys. For the second half hour, which is what we did last week. In the second half hour, we talked about our favorite Portugal YouTubers, which is up on the channel now, on our respective channels. And tonight we will have definitely 30 minutes of our weirdest Portuguese experiences. I dare say you've had one or two yourself, so join us at 7 p.m. this evening. So that's quite the lineup today. Let me just refresh your memory on that. And thank you very much for being here today. Oh, one other thing before I do that. The social, the Valentine's weekend, bring your mops and buckets. Good Times weekends, the first of many, I hope. Save this date, 15th and 16th. I'm calling it Valentine's weekend. And now we discover the Caldas de Rainha Beer Festival will also be happening this weekend, as well as our party on the night of the 15th of February, where there will be karaoke and there will be singing and dancing and a disco. So looking forward to that. 15th, and it's not far. It's only a month away now. And I think by February 15th, 16th, Valentine's weekend here in Portugal, the weather will have warmed up. It won't feel quite so damp and dark. And we will have a feeling of spring being in the air. And you'll be able to skip gaily along that beach there, hand in hand, wearing linen and cheesecloth with your loved one. Like that scene from Naked Gun, is it? With Priscilla Presley and Leslie Nielsen. We'll do our best to recreate that. And have some fun that weekend. I'm really looking forward to that. In Batalha the weekend before that, actually, another date for your diary. I'll be hanging out with the Expats Portugal crew in Batalha. That's the weekend before. But it'll be lovely to see you in São Martinho de Porto on the 15th and 16th, and certainly for that party on the Saturday night of the 15th. Right. Okay, so going through for the rest of today then, today, oh, and I do have those couple of postcards to show you as well. The Moment, that's at midday, that's going really well. We are now, me and Mrs. M, every day at midday, we are doing The Moment, having a moment together on the new agey kind of TV website station, New Reality TV. We're delighted and proud to be a part of that, and we do a daily show on there at midday. And for anyone who enjoyed my little moments of mindfulness and meditation at midday, that continues there on The Moment on newrealitytv.com. And then this evening, me and the Portugueser, our weirdest Portuguese experiences from 7 o'clock. And at 8:30, Solidarity with Los Angeles. We'll do our best to connect with anyone who's suffering and struggling a bit, who might be American, Californian, or even from LA, here in Portugal, feeling a bit hopeless and helpless about what's going on back home. Mike Barton will be with us with his insight as a retired US firefighter, fire investigator, and paramedic. And we'll make ourselves useful. If you just need to connect and talk, we will be available to you at 8:30 this evening. And thereafter, see you, James, I hope tonight at 8:30 for this part, Solidarity with Los Angeles and California. And then at around 9:15, we will be hanging out socially. And the link is at the Portugal Club, or just hit me up for that if you need it. That's how today's looking. Blue Monday, no. We are going for Green and Red Monday. Next Monday, the 20th, which is going to be a very interesting day in human history, is it not? Not least because it's thought to be Blue Monday, but because of Donald Trump coming into office next Monday as well. And a lovely postcard or two just to see you on your way this morning. Send your pictures if you'd like me to immortalize them in this way. To 913-590-303. That is my Balane sunset there. Absolutely love that from 7 years ago. And Trafaria, looking across the water, the Tejo, and that wonderful industrial landscape with a beautiful Portuguese or Lisboeta sunset behind it. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Much appreciated. Sorry not to see Mama Bear McGowan. I hope that Batty is doing okay after his visit to the vet. And Gilda, we have to find out a way of connecting with Gilda more effectively. And we'll certainly be doing that on Thursday night for the town hall, and a special on Portuguese visas at 7:30 if you want to update yourself on that. Have a great day, dear friend, and I will see you at midday today, or at 7 or 8:30. Busy day today. Take care. Bye for now. Have a good one.
Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.